Christina, Bunch of Styles. So today I wanted to talk about storytelling and how to get more eyes to your stores as well as your service businesses, because right now the market is getting hecka saturated, right? So storytelling is so important in just getting attention, getting followers to view you, getting people to see what your personality and what your brand is about. Do you guys use storytelling when you talk about your products and services? So today I was on a coaching call and a woman was sharing her story. And I said, why don't you tell stories that relate to your audience that they can emotionally connect to you so that they want to watch your videos, they want to hear what you're saying. And stories is just an amazing way to really relay who your avatar wants to hear more about, like something about your personal life, so that people are more interested in getting to know you, like you, and trust you. So like, let me give you an example. When you watch Netflix, right, have you watched Squid Games, or like, what is the Money Heist? Yesterday I watched Money Heist and Squid Games, right? And Squid Games and Money Heist, when I watch those shows, you just want to watch beginning to end, and you just want to watch over and over and again. You want to watch all the different episodes, right? Why? Because it's addicting, and it's just captivating, and you get into the emotional parts of those characters. So that's why you get addicted to watching those kind of shows. Same with your content on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. You want people to get addicted to what you say, and just when you come live, you want people to watch you, and you want people to see what you're about, so you could talk about your clothes, about your coaching, whatever programs that you offer. And so, how do you get people more addicted, or the attention of people when the market is so saturated? People are just always going live. Facebook's analytics are slowing down. So, how do you get more eyes to your stores and your services? And it's by telling stories about your personal life, or about your brand, or something about you that people can connect to and they resonate with. So, like, let me give you an example of a story that I share when people are very, very interested when I post on Instagram. So you could see, oh, how can I use storytelling in my content so that people are more captivated with what I share? So, like, for instance, I always talk about, like, when I first met my husband, right? So everybody likes when I share stories about my love life for some reason. So when I post on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or Instagram feed stories, I get the most views when I talk about my love story. So that's why I'll post more about that content, right? And then people that are married, or people that are single, that have dated jerks and then met a good guy, or people that want to meet a good guy, then they'll like want to watch that. So then that build some level of emotional connection with me. So those kind of stories are also what you can share. Another story that I shared recently in my past was how my mom, I shared a story about how one time I drove for Uber. And so I could share that story and just say something like, hey, I drove for Uber once and it was a really bad experience. And that's the end of the story, right? Or I could say like this: it was 2 in the morning. I could smell vomit in the back seat of my car. I started crying. My back tire popped, and I was just so miserable. This was my life right now. This is what God wants me to endure, to be driving an Uber car while some guy, alcoholic, drunk guy, was throwing up in my back seat. And at 2 in the morning, the tires popped, and I was just like crying to God, like, how could this be my life? How can I have this life that I'm just driving at 2 in the morning and I'm just in tears? Do you see the difference between the two stories? So, like, when you share stories, you have to like let people know in the story your actual emotions, your feelings, and people will relate to that better, right? So, example again is like, for fashion sellers or service providers, if you're talking about how you started your business, you're struggling, you didn't get any sales, like you're buying all these coaching programs and nobody was helping you, and you weren't getting the results you were wanting, and you were just so depressed. And then all of a sudden, so that's like the downside of the story. And then all of a sudden that first sale came in and you had some hope. You thought, you know what, maybe this is going to work. Maybe this is going to actually build an empire for me, and then you feel like you can be a winner. So that's like another way of telling a story. Okay, so when you go live, when you share on Facebook, if you can tell these stories that people in your audience could relate to, then they'll feel like they know you, they feel emotionally connected to you, and they'll be like, you know what, I used to have a crappy job, I know exactly how that feels like. Oh, you know what, I dated a jerk and then I married a great guy afterwards. Oh, that makes me resonate with that story. So when you share these stories, then people like, they just feel like, you know what, I really like that person. I really want to support her. I really like what she stands for. And that's when you could get more people to understand who you are and your brand, and just that they like to support you and that they'll trust you. And also sharing these stories makes people relate to you. You have this relatability that people see that they are part of you and what you're involved with. And that also makes people feel connected to you. So the name of the game for producing content is to build relationships and to have connection, because when people feel like they're that you care for them, that you have a relationship with them, then they also want to buy from you. You could also, they also want to like support you, and they also want to, you know, tune in and watch you more and more. So I hope this helps. I like to try to help service and service-based entrepreneurs as well as coaches how to get more eyes, build an audience, you know, have break out in this crowded audience, so crowded marketplace, so they could sell more and just help their community, and you know, get more money in their bank accounts. Okay, so I hope this helped you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.